just in case the Empire State Building didn't give it away, we're in New York. The reason? It's the McLaren 570S launch.
The 570S is the final piece of the jigsaw, the first in the Sport series. 650S is part of the Super series, the P1 the Ultimate series. Eventually there'll be a 540C, which we're expecting to see in Shanghai as well. The 570S might be more about driver involvement than before, but the figures remain nonetheless extremely impressive. 0 to 62 miles an hour at 3.2 seconds, 0 to 124 miles an hour in 9.5 seconds, and all out it'll hit 204 miles an hour. Maximum brake horsepower 562 at 7,400 RPM, torque 443 pounds-foot at 5,000 RPM. These are all extremely impressive numbers, particularly allied to a dry weight of just 13 kilos. The interior certainly looks much airier, with a bit more storage space inside as well. There's a TFT instrument cluster and a 7-inch screen for the iris in the middle. The things you initially notice about the bodywork, well, the car's actually slightly bigger than a 650S, even though it looks smaller. The floating tendon on the door is extremely sculptural and very beautiful. Also, this year's must-have for any supercar, flying buttresses. We've seen them on the 488 GTB and, I suppose, in extreme form, on the new Ford GT.
So with me here is Mark Vanells, who is the Executive Director of Product Development for McLaren. I think I've got that right. Is that right, Mark?
Yeah.
Excellent, good. And this is it. This is the 570S. So could you just talk us through, perhaps start with the design, because it's, well, as you can see from the sketches behind, it's pretty similar to the sketches, isn't it?
Well, as I said to you earlier, Henry, we're absolutely delighted with the design. I've been doing this for many years, and I think it's the first time genuinely we've gone from a conceptual sketch pretty much straight away to the final car. A lot of the themes and images from the original sketches are absolutely transformed to the car we've got today. Obviously, aerodynamics informs so much of McLaren design, so what we're trying to do with the exterior of this car is optimize the airflow, maximize the cooling efficiency, deliver downforce efficiently, but fundamentally delivering a car which looks absolutely fantastic. Some of the unique features on the car, the front of the car, where we're utilizing all of the airflow below the bumper into the low temperature radiators, which are there for turbocharger cooling. The door tendon on the side of the car, a really unique feature, a completely hollow section on the door seam. When we started the program, we had no idea how we were going to engineer this, but it was so key to the theme and so key to the aerodynamic performance that we had to keep it really there to ensure we have maximum cooling efficiency down the side of the car. And the flying buttress, using all that fast flowing air down the side of the car to evacuate heat from the engine bay and deliver downforce at the rear. So a car which looks great, but obviously is aerodynamically efficient as well.
So the chassis is obviously sort of, well, it's still a carbon tub, but it's changed quite a bit, sort of, I think, particularly to help access with the car.
It was a tough challenge delivering carbon fibre at the price point for the Super Series. It's obviously critical for us to deliver carbon fibre even within the Sports Series. So fundamentally delivering the same structural performance, slightly less, if you like, in puristic terms, structurally efficient, because we've lowered the side section of the sill, so that's lowered by 80 millimetres to make it easier to get in and out of the car.
But it's still very light, because it's presumably...
Still very, very light carbon fibre. I have to say the tub still weighs less than me. I'm not sure about you, Henry, but it still weighs less than me.
And the engine, that's obviously the other sort of main component that we sort of recognise as having sort of trickled down from, well, both P1 and sort of 650S or 12C or whatever. But it's changed quite a lot internally for this car. Yeah,
so in terms of the engine component change, 30% of the engine's new. Award-winning V8 engine. We didn't want to change fundamentally the characteristics, but we want to deliver fantastic power and torque, but also deliver efficiency. So a lot of changes derived around that target to deliver efficiency from the sports car segment. Top end changes to the camshafts, more overlap, more variable overlap certainly to deliver that. Everything from the cylinder head to the tailpipes new, delivering what we think is a really lovely exhaust note. And I have to say, we've been at this game for several years now. I think we're winning the battle against the normally aspirated engines. Everybody will be here ultimately. I know this car sounds as good as a normally aspirated car. In terms of the way the torque's delivered, you're pretty much getting 500 Newton meters at 3,000 RPM, but then the torque curve rises, lovely rise in the torque curve, which really rewards you when you're driving it. likes to be revved, you're feeling that increase in performance as you go through the rev range.
And in terms of sort of chassis, the thing that's obviously most noticeable, you've got normal fixed anti-roll bars now.
Yeah, so although we've got adaptive damping, we have got conventional anti-roll bars on this car, but nevertheless we've still got mode differentiation, so we've got normal, sport and track, which allows us to change obviously the vertical stiffness, but also the characteristics, the handling characteristics of the car as well.
And the ESP, you said, has changed slightly as well? Or
Yeah, completely revised, and one of the things I'm, if you like, proudest of is the amount of software and calibration work that we're doing, particularly around the ABS, the ESP system. So we've got significant differences within the modes, but we've also got the ability to reduce the level of ESP assistance depending upon the driving conditions and what the driver wants. So you can reduce it in sport to give you a level of freedom, you can reduce it further in track, more freedom, and if you want you can switch it completely off, and that allows you to throw the car around. The Sport Series was really focused on track, the Super Series was focused on track time. With the Sport Series it's more about engagement and fun and the ability to feel the car moving around. But
and presumably because it's slightly smaller tyre on this, which is again going to help that just sort of interaction.
Not all about, although the car does deliver great levels of grip, it's not all about grip, it's not overtired in any means, it's a car which you can feel comfortable throwing around.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Henry.
So there we are, that is the brand new McLaren 570S, the first in the new Sport Series. Is it a black swan moment, as they're saying? Well, you know, it's kind of, it sounds exciting. From our point of view, I think the thing I'll take away most is the fact that it is going to be designed to be more fun to drive. So it's got that smaller tyre on it. I know they've targeted stuff like GT3. You look at the figures and I'm thinking it's going to be a direct rival for the new Audi R8, which you can read all about on the website as well. It looks really cool in the flesh. It does look quite different. It's actually slightly bigger, but it looks smaller than the 650. But yeah, I think it's that sense of fun that we'll be looking for when we get to drive it, hopefully in the middle of this year. So there we go, 570S. Let us know what you think about it. Is it a step on? Is it too similar to the cars above it? Certainly in terms of looks and stuff, or are you hoping for something more? Or do you think it's the best thing ever? Let us know in the comments box below and on Facebook and Twitter and all those sorts of things.